Hi everyone, welcome back to the cottage. Today I want to share how you can stay clutter-free by giving some examples of rules that we have set in place that help us maintain a clutter-free home. I know as well as the next person how frustrating that clutter can be. With 5 kids and a husband and a busy lifestyle, clutter is just one extra thing to add to the stress. And I have found over the last few years or so that by adopting a few simple rules for our home, we have been able to maintain a much more clutter-free space, and that really has helped reduce the stress level that we have here in our home. So I hope that these tips can be useful for you. If you are struggling with clutter, give some of these tips a try. The first is to keep tabs on any unused items. If you're not looking for these items, you might not find them. They're hiding in plain sight. They are clothes that no longer fit, toys that are no longer used, a book that was read once that probably will never be read again. And these items just will pile up if you're not really staying on top of it. So we are constantly looking around our house for anything that is duplicates, anything that is not being used, and we get rid of them as soon as we can. This is the first step in becoming clutter-free. The second rule that we have is to utilize the container method whenever possible to ensure that we're not keeping more of the same type of thing than we actually need or use. It could be something as simple as a basket that you fill with throw blankets, and if you have more that can fit in the basket, you don't keep any extras. We found this to be especially helpful in our bathrooms. We have, a drawer or a cabinet, and any other toiletry products that don't fit in there we do not keep. So the container method is just setting a boundary of how much of any particular item that you keep around, and this will really help you reduce clutter as well. Next, you're going to want to be aware of any clutter magnet spots. And it doesn't matter how tidy you are or how simplified you've made your life, there's going to be an area or two in your home where clutter just tends to gravitate towards more frequently than other spaces. In our home, it's the laundry room counter and the garage. And by knowing that these two areas are our clutter spots, we just keep a closer tab on it. We are constantly decluttering these areas to make sure that they don't become overwhelming. And it's just a good peace of mind to know where these spots are so that you can always keep an eye on them. Speaking of counters, this rule applies specifically to the kitchen. I've said before that horizontal surfaces do tend to attract more clutter, and in the kitchen, those countertop spaces need to be left for use, for you to prepare your meals. And so the rule we have in our kitchen is that if you're not using an item, it needs to be put away. I have many people that I know that like to keep items that they use on a daily basis, such as the coffee maker, the toaster, the blender. They keep all these things out on their counters thinking that they are using them on a daily basis. But in reality, you might be using these 1% of your day, and then the 99% of the time, they're just sitting there taking up space that could be used for the prep work and the cooking of your meals. And so the rule at our house is that these countertops stay with the bare minimums on top of them, and that really does help our kitchen feel a lot more clutter-free. Rule number 5 is to set expectations for family members. No one person wants to become the maid of their home that's picking up after everybody else's messes. And so really making sure that it's a family event, everyone's involved in keeping the home clutter-free is really important. So knowing which spaces are yours to take care of and which items that you are in charge of is going to be really important. And bonus, this is a life lesson that will benefit the entire family, every single member in the future. So this is a great rule to set in place. One specific expectation that we have in our home is actually rule number 6 on this list, and that is to return any electronic items to a central location when they are not in use. This is a simple thing, but it's amazing how a little cord or an electronic device kind of scattered throughout your house can add to your visual clutter. So having that one spot where all of the electronics go when they're not in use is a really good tip. Rule number 7 is to keep a simple wardrobe. I personally have a capsule wardrobe with very limited number of pieces. My husband and kids also have very simplified wardrobes, including only the things that they use on a regular basis. And this really helps to cut down on laundry, which who isn't looking for that? And it also makes sure that our drawers and our closets are not overstuffed. Anything that we've outgrown or has rips or stains, they're automatically decluttered and out of our lives. My next rule is to do a seasonal declutter, and here in the Midwest we get all 4 seasons very boldly, and so this is a good reminder for me. 4 times out of the year I have a date on the calendar where I am actually going to go through and be very thorough about doing a declutter. And this is not the everyday things, this is going deep into those drawers, deep into any area where you store things, and doing a really good thorough declutter. I find all sorts of things when I do these extra specific decluttering sessions, and so that is why this rule is on my list. My next rule is no more waiting for later. There are so many little tasks that we have to do throughout our day that if you leave them undone, it's actually going to contribute to clutter that really could have been avoided with 1 minute or less of an activity. I'm talking about things like making the bed. When you make the bed, it maybe takes a minute or less, and it just makes things look a lot less cluttered. Putting your clothes away instead of throwing them on the floor. Just do these tasks right away, when in the moment, instead of waiting for later, and your home is going to feel a lot more clutter-free. One specific example is rule number 10 on this list, and that is to take action on paper clutter immediately. There's something about paper clutter that tends to pile up a lot faster than other areas, and I found that really just getting to that right away, as soon as it comes out of the mailbox, as soon as it enters into your home, getting rid of that junk mail, getting rid of those school papers if you don't need to keep them, is very helpful. And I've done a video all about paper clutter and how to manage it and how to reduce it, and I will leave that video in the link down below. My next 3 rules involve shopping. Number 11 on this list is to minimize any recreational shopping or bargain hunting. I am at the point now in my minimalism journey where I very rarely do any recreational shopping. Instead, I shop to replace items. So if a shirt becomes stained or ripped and I need to replace it, I will shop specifically for a shirt at the store. I very rarely will walk into a store without a list in hand of a specific item or items that I'm looking for, and this really does help me keep down any clutter that I might be bringing into my home. Now, I get that for some people shopping is a form of entertainment, and I do on occasion like to peruse the antique stores to see what kind of vintage finds that they have. And so the tip that I have for that type of shopping is I rarely will buy something on the spot. I might see something, take a picture of it, go home, and then think about it a little bit before I make a commitment. And this has really helped me as well, and it allows me to still kind of do some of that recreational shopping without being too committal and without always bringing something home. Rule number 12 is to shop at home first, and for me this applies specifically to home decor type of items. I like to refresh spaces and make them look new, and instead of going to the store, I tend to go around my home and see if I can find any blankets or rugs or furniture pieces that might be able to give new life to the space I'm working on wanting to refresh. And more often than not, I'm able to do this without bringing anything new into my home. And if we do need to shop for something, my next rule is to shop secondhand first, either through Facebook Marketplace or at secondhand stores, something like that. And this rule kind of started out as a way to save money and to be more economical, but it's really become my go-to way whenever I need anything new to look first at secondhand options. I've been able to find some very high quality, basically new items for very reduced prices. And the benefit of this is that if you find something that you want to bring into your home and it's not quite the right fit, it's easier for you to let go of it and just declutter it quicker instead of feeling that guilt of having spent a lot of money on something new and not really loving it. We use this rule a lot as it relates to games and puzzles. We will maybe buy a puzzle at the thrift store, try it at home, find out it's missing a couple pieces perhaps, or we just didn't like the puzzle itself, and it's no guilt at all to then just send it right back to the thrift store where it started. Rule number 14 in our house is to remember that things are just things. We tend to have an attachment towards items that have been in our possession for a period of time, and we want to remember here in our house that these items are easily replaceable. And so if a child breaks a glass, for example, We don't get angry about it because we know that that glass can be replaced by something different. To be able to distinguish between what is truly special and worth keeping and holding on to versus what is just an everyday item that can be easily replaced. And this is going to be a really important rule if you are trying to live a clutter-free home life. And the final rule that I want to share with you is to do daily and weekly resets in your home. We definitely do not have 100% of clutter-free life 100% of the time here at the cottage either, but we do know that at the end of each day we are going to get things back in order, and that once a week we're going to do a whole house reset. And this just really does help us maintain this clutter-free home life that we like to have here, and it helps us to not be so overwhelmed. If things start to get a little bit out of hand, we always know that we can reset it back daily and weekly. I hope that by sharing these rules that we have in our home with you, that you can take some information from this and maybe guide yourself towards a more clutter-free lifestyle in your own home. If there was any specific one that really resonated with you that you're going to give a try, go ahead and give me a comment down below and talk to me about what you are going to try to implement in your home to live a more clutter-free lifestyle. Thank you so much for watching today's video, and I hope that you'll stop by the cottage again really soon.